York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time show, here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And guess what, guys? We are back to talk about the Knicks and the offseason. And we squatted up today, man. We got everybody in the building. So I'm ready to get this going and talking some Knicks basketball. So let's not delay. Let's not delay the conversation, because I know it's going to be a great one, because we got a lot of great minds, a lot of great personalities. So let's get to it. Before we get to it, I'm going to introduce you to the peoples on the panel. First and foremost, it is Latin Assassin, ESPN contributor, Bleacher Report contributor, my guy, Elias Thibodeau. Was good, Lee?
Yo, we squatted up, man. These are all my favorite people in one group, minus our main man, Ryan G., who will join us eventually this upcoming season. But I'm very, very happy for the new additions, the returning faces, and all of us squatted up, baby. Let's talk Knicks.
Squatted up, all right. Of course, you already know, is best mod in the game, also Mr. NBA Economy. Our guy, Fritz Alessandro. What's going on, Fritz?
Hey, what's going on? It's my time of year. I got all my calculators with me.
Let's go. He I'm already, listen.
Hell yeah.
He already warned us. We talking free agents today. He told us he's gonna dash a lot of dreams. So
the Reaper.
Yeah, because he knows all the numbers and stuff. He lets us know what's possible, what's not. So we might be crying a lot today, but that's fine. We're still gonna have a good show. We're gonna pod through the tears. All right. All right, cool. So next we have our guy. All right. Mr. Knicks Nightcap himself, Phil Porto. What's going on, Phil?
What up? What up? Appreciate you guys having me on. Like I told the guys backstage, I'll be in and out, but I had to at least hop on for a bit to be able to talk with you guys about free agency and off seasons and coaching changes and all the beautiful things that is New York drama. So looking forward to it.
Yes, New York drama wouldn't be off season without New York drama. All right. Next, we got our ex-D1 baller, our girl, Ebony. What's going on, Ebony? Unmute.
I wasn't gonna say. I knew I was muted that time. Y'all, look at that growth. What up, y'all? I can't wait. I can't wait to talk. I guess off season is anything goes right now. A lot of rumors. So if anything, I talking to you guys will shape my opinion, because free is me.
Free is me. Exactly. Sign of intelligence is being able to take in new information and have that shape your opinion. So we like that about you, Ebony. All right. Of course. All right. For guys who were here for the last post game when I was absent, we have the newest member of the KO2 squad. All right. He was rookie of the year last year. This year's rookie of the year.
Back to back. What's up?
B the motivator. What's going on, B?
I'm feeling good. Feeling like money, like always. How we doing, guys? First of all, thank you. Thank you. And I got to shout out the Knicks world. Without them, this opportunity wouldn't be possible. So I thank you guys so much again. Thank you. Free agency is me, though. I always look forward to adding what we need to do. So I love this type of conversation.
Hell yeah. The free agency conversation is like the most fun conversations in all seasons. So I'm ready to get to it. But before we get into the juicy free agency stuff, I'm starting with the PSA. I'm starting with the PSA. There is a lot of free agency news that go on from day to day. Be careful what you believe. That's all I'm going to say. Everything you read is not going to be true. I'm not saying it's going to be a lie, but everything you read, just take it with a grain of salt. For example, Giannis Antetokounmpo was a Knick and not a Knick for 3 days straight in 3 different stories. Oh, he's coming to the Knicks, definitely. He's definitely coming. Oh, he's not coming to the Knicks. Oh, he's definitely coming to the Knicks. It's been all over the place with the news. Rick Brunson is hated by everybody. The locker room is divided. Some of this could be true. But I defer to the big guys and Sham and Ian Begley, maybe Mark Stein sometimes. But if you don't hear from those guys, question it. Not to say it's a lie, but just question it. That's all I'm saying.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
We don't believe you. We need more people. Exactly. So I'm gonna start
It's
off.
one of my favorite lines, Fritz. I use that almost daily.
Exactly. So, but before we even get into the free agency stuff, I'm gonna start off with Ebony. What was you thinking about the coaching stuff? Tom Thibodeau is gone. He's fired. All right, nice.
Not too much, Ed. Not too much.
Yo, I disrespect. Come on, that's the decorum.
Damn, man, that's harsh.
We see how she feel. We see. Now we gotta hear. We see.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to retire this. It's going to be retired. You gotta retire.
Yeah,
I'm happy
I
to
see you,
do
Ev.
it.
I see you.
I am happy to do it. Have a seat over here. Don't come back out. I'm good. I'm good. I am so happy. I'm happy, y'all. I know there was a lot of people. Tibs brung us. I appreciate it. I'm grateful for what he did. But again, when we hired him, the reason I didn't want him hired in the first place is why he got fired. So it kind of was like, all right, Eb, you was on something. But that is my thing. Again, I am grateful for him taking us out of poverty and making us legit. But that's what the Knicks needed. When they've hired them, we needed a name brand coach so other people would take us serious. Now he's our Mark Jackson. We need the Steve Kerr. We need the Dwayne Casey. He's shown us back-to-back years. It doesn't matter what his team looks like, healthy or not healthy. He's still going to run the same amount of guys. He's still going to run them his way, and he's not going to adjust until shit hits the fan. So, he is very, like my mom said, constantly during this playoffs. Like every day I've spoken to her, he's not a playoff coach, is what she's told me. Tim's not a playoff coach. That's how she was starting the conversation with me. He's not a playoff coach. This is not a playoff coach. This is coming from my moms. Shout out my moms. But yeah, and my dad saying they're not smart. They're not smart. This is what I heard on my birthday, y'all. Tibs not a play on one side. Tibs not a playoff coach, and my dad, they're not smart at all. Why is Tibs allowing this? This is not smart basketball. That's what I heard. My whole basketball dinner, my whole birthday dinner.
Happy belated. All right.
Yeah, which was the very first game of the series, of the Pacers series. So yes, I am very excited for new beginnings, and I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but I would like to see a coach who utilizes his whole team. And if you're not doing your job, you take a seat next to me. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with coaches like that. I would like our next coach to coach. I can't stand the Pacers, but or really the Oklahoma City Thunder, but that's because I got issues with Shea and Hart. But I like their players, the rest of the players. They are. I would like our team to build like that, where everybody can play defense, and when your number is called, you do your job. That's it. That's how I like my teams, and I've been like that, and that's why when we got the team we got, I thought it was final. Automatically, I thought it was finals.
Is anybody nervous about the lack of direction on the next coach to be hired by the Knicks? Because that's my concern. You fired a coach. Yes, he had his problems, he had his issues, but I almost feel like it's like quitting your job before you have another job. It's like no one goes, hey, you hate your job, quit your job now before you find your. They'd be like, find that other job so you can hop from job to job and the pay does not stop coming in. I almost feel like we quit our job before we find another job. That's just me.
You never do that.
Yeah, I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous. I think they're gonna have a different coach with a different personality. I think I think we tried to make an all-star like set of coaches. He had every best coach behind him and he didn't use them. I think the new coach, he'll have the experts behind him and they expect them to use them. I think it's going to be a committee. I think it's going to be, we're going to get a guy who listens to other guys and who's going to listen to analytics. And I don't think it's going to be one magician pulling the strings. I think they want more teamwork.
Beast face going.
Chris, who had a coach? Who had who behind him? Tibs?
Tibbs had an all-star cast when he started, and they fell off. Like Woodson was there.
Okay, I thought you meant this season. I thought you meant this season.
No, I'm just
if
saying.
you just start off, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, so he had an all-star cast. He didn't really use them. Other people, they got other jobs. I think Dolan will give whoever is in the coaching seat whoever they want behind them.
I'm a little bit concerned because we came into it. Everybody has the narrative that we made a team to beat the Boston Celtics. We made a team to win a championship. I'm always going to repeat that. And the Boston Celtics just so happened to beat the champions. So when you then, a lot of people came into the season, they're going to repeat, and we have a team that could beat that repeated team. So I think, like we thought, it was tied or bust. So I didn't think anybody had the thought process that Tom Thibodeau wouldn't be starting the next season. I thought they thought that Tom Thibodeau was going to win this season with this roster. And when he didn't, we did something like this that you said, you don't quit your job without having a backup job or having a thing. So I'm a little bit concerned because even with some of the names that are being said, they're not realistic or ideal. And they're not even, some of them, and even outside of the names, some of them that's left out of the names that maybe they're not better than Tom Thibodeau, in my opinion, at this time. So it does alarm me. Or not even about being better, the experience. We're trying to win a championship after almost being 2 games from the finals. So do you throw in somebody with less experience than Tom Thibodeau that's possibly better? Or do you throw somebody who's better with no experience? It's very tricky right now because the list is very slim to none. It's not a large list of people who are experienced and good. It's either one or the other. And right now, I do think, and I will give him his flowers, he set the caliber very high. And you got to find, and in order to be Mark Jackson, you got to find Steve Kerr.
Here's the thing.
Go, Phil.
What I'll say is there's parts I agree with and parts I disagree with. The first, I celebrated like Ebony. Like when I came on, and I found that my brother texted me that Tibs was gone, and I'm thankful for what Tibs did. Like, I've had miserable seasons as a Knicks fan. Like, very miserable. Like, where I had to watch it and go, I wish I wasn't this loyal because I don't even enjoy what I'm watching, and I don't have a life because I'm still watching this deadbeat team. So Tibs brought me.
Tibbs brought me.
Yeah, he brought me from misery to enjoyment, where I can enjoy watching it with my boys. I can be thankful. And there was times like the Boston series where I'm like, yo, Tibbs switched it up. That was fire. And then there was times where I'm just like, oh, here it is again. Like the proverb says, it's insanity for a dog to return back to its own vomit. And we would see Tibbs do those things and go, what is happening? Why again? So for me, I don't see it as don't like make a change if you don't know the new direction. Like, if I start driving and I feel like I see signs that say waterfall ahead, or, closed road up ahead, cliff up ahead, and I see those signs, in my opinion, I may not know exactly where I'm going to go. My GPS may not be working, but I know I'm not going to continue going down that street where I feel like it's coming to a dead end that's going to fall off a cliff.
It depends if your fall off the cliff is 50 wins or like.
But that's the thing is we talk about the same thing about the offseason. Like, we could have looked at last year and said, well, we came further than we did before. We got 50 wins, this, that, whatever. Like, we shouldn't change the roster. But no, we made changes to the roster because we're always looking to improve. So I feel like the way that we're looking at with our players, we should look at the coaches. And I know that in talking about that in the past, people would say that I'm crazy, don't know what I'm talking about, this, that, or whatever. It's all speculation. But now when you hear things such as, hey, they interviewed the players, and this was not just a head, like Dolan decision. It wasn't a Leon Rose decision. It was they sat with the players. Like, I don't care how good your musicians are. If your orchestra does not want to be composed by the guy that's up there, they're not really going to follow the composition, and it's going to show. It's going to start falling apart. So you look at the things that have been said in past years that have been like ignored because they weren't like key players. Like when Obi Toppin said he had issues with Tibs, it was like, he's a backup. He doesn't get enough minutes. That's why he's upset. Okay. Grimes is a backup. He doesn't get enough minutes. He's just upset. All right. Dante and him are fighting because he didn't get the role that he wanted again. Theo Pinson just came out with an interview saying like he's a good coach, but it's not sustainable for star players. None of our star players felt it was sustainable. And for teams to get over that hump, they just don't do it with Tom Thibodeau. Like, so you're having players from the past that have spoken up, that have been ignored. Then you hear that it's our key players. It's not the Hook Porties that got interviewed. It's not the Dottiers that got interviewed. It's our actual players that we're building upon. The ones who matter, the ones who we obviously want to build with going forward. They had an issue with the coaching, and that's why the front office listened. So for me, I'm going to listen to the players that I'm banking on to be our team going forward, that if they feel like, hey, we'd rather take a risk with a new voice, then why would we not want to take a risk if we're just sitting on the couch watching the players who feel that way? You know, so that's my thoughts.
I guess it's like,
Cook.
I guess it depends on how you see everything. Like if you're watching, like if you watch the Ian Begley reporting, right? The Ian Begley reporting goes, we have James Dolan who was in the meeting, which is not typical. Then he said they interviewed the players, the coaches, and everybody else, and they came to a decision collectively, right? So it's like they don't really get into details about who said what. It's just like very vague. They came into a decision collectively, right? Even when you talking to like Ian Begley, how he talks about it, he talks about like, I still might be surprised because he's done this, he's done that, he's done da-da-da-da-da, but you just never know. Da-da-da-da-da. It's never really been definitive. It always seemed like 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Like we know the shortcomings. You know there's gonna be turmoil. You know there's gonna be people in the locker room who you're not going to have feel good because you're never gonna win 100% of the people 100% of the time. It's just impossible, right? So you know that, but you also know his record and his resume. So if you're going, it's a 50-50 chance, and the players have a lot to do with it, and the coaching staff and all that stuff, then I agree he should be let go. But we don't know that. We're assuming. We're assuming, which is why when I saw the news and I saw the news, I'm like, I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent.
But when have you ever seen that wasn't the Knicks exit strategy until this season? That's never how they did it before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the fact that they did it differently and felt like Dolan and Rose had to be there individually with each player to get those opinions, that keeps anyone from having an outside voice being worried about what so-and-so said or so-and-so said. Like, and you got to look, this is their guy. Like Leon Rose and Tibs are tight. Tibs and Dolan are tight. So it's not that like it's one of those, you know, like it probably wasn't that bad. But if his best friends in the ownership and in the, you know, in the coaching staff and the owner plus the players, there had to be something, because if it's not a player you're building upon, you don't really care what they say. Like, you just don't. Mm-hmm. Like, if Dottier threw a fit and was like, nope, this coach is trash, you know, and you got to think, if their main key players that they're trying to build upon are the ones that are saying, no, it's Tibs or bust. It's Tibs or bust. Do not let go of Tibs. I don't think that we're really having this conversation.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have Jalen Brunson who goes on camera and goes, are you kidding me? So you already know Jalen Brunson is for Tibs. But then but then it's like, okay, you have him on camera. That's the captain. You know what I'm saying? So then it's like, you know, one definitive guy, and then you kind of left to kind of guesstimate. So you don't really know how good or bad it is. You're just kind of guesstimating off of rumors. I think that's what it really is to me.
Yeah, but it's got to be important enough of a piece to listen to them if Jalen Brunson has already publicly said. So it can't be someone who's minute if it's combating your captain. Like, if the captain really felt like that behind closed doors, it had to be someone just as important or enough pieces that add up to the importance of Jalen Brunson, whether it's 2 or 3 players that you're building upon.
I mean, if somebody does something once, they're going to do it twice. Then we know who got fired the first time.
Well, I don't think it's one person. To be honest, Tibs got himself fired. Like, you have to change. You have to change. You can't be the same coach you was in Minnesota and Chicago.
Yeah.
You have to change. And it's the same every stop he's gotten fired for the same thing. Like we were talking about a couple pods ago or whatever, he's stuck in his ways. There is no, we were talking about teaching a old dog new tricks. There is none for him. It's he gaslit us to get the job, saying how he was traveling everywhere, watching the game, how the modern game and the modern coaches, and he's changed and adjust.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a gaslight. And I think Dolan saw that, or whoever made the decision, because Dolan was like, if I got to fake change, Tibbs, you got to fake change too. And he didn't. Because, Dolan did his whole PR trying to get his image back together. He said, Tibbs, you ain't doing the same. You're not doing the same. So I can understand. I could understand why they made the change. If you're going to coach the last year team where you had injuries, the same way you're going to coach your team without it, that speaks volumes to me. I'm pretty sure it spoke volumes to the front office too. It's just at the point. It's at the point where they was like, oh, we may not have a definitive target, but we know you're not our target anymore.
I am happy that those who wanted him gone, whether they were long-standing people who wanted him gone, like Phil or Fritz, or people who kind of gradually based their opinion on the playoffs. And I think Ebony was watching series to series. I'm glad that the coach that you wanted fired got fired. That can be a really good feeling. When I saw Fizdale get fired, I was absolutely
Fizdale was different.
I'm not comparing the two. I'm just reflecting on the feelings of when you want something to happen with your favorite team and it happens. It's a very joyful feeling. So I want to recognize that. And I was mostly a very strong Tibs supporter. Before B, I was probably the strongest Tibs supporter on this channel, even though I wasn't a fan and I never loved him. And he wasn't my choice first, second, or third for him to initially be the coach. But I grew to respect him. And as my knowledge of X's and O's improved, my understanding and appreciation of him improved too. Because I saw he was running a lot of action that people say he wasn't. And his defensive schemes were more complex than people were saying they were. So I grew to respect him at the very least. However, now that he's gone, I'm not even focused on any tears on Tibs. I had no coffee mug for Tibs tears. No interest. I'm only looking forward into the future. And I must say, Jay, I agree with you. I think there's been some dysfunction from the Knicks. It is smelling a little bit like the Dolan 2000 Zeke era. It's smelling a little bit like the 2016 Phil Jackson era in that how the coaching search has been conducted.
Yeah, it feels weird.
There's no better option than Tibs, I would say, in terms of the coaches who have been fired and are now free agents. There's a lot of equal, maybe a little bit better, like a Malone or a Bud. They have a chip. It's hard to say, but not better. I get that. But in terms of the entire breadth of their resume, there's a lot of miscues there. It gets worse when we get into the Mark Jackson, Mike Brown era or Jason Kidd, but there's quality and quantity across the board of guys who have been fired and now want to be hired. What's bothered me is the optics of the Knicks looking at coaches who are under contract. That's, to me, very embarrassing. Because you're getting denied. It's like, we want Jason Kidd, and these are the biggest reporters in the game reporting this. And then the Mavs are like, we ain't letting you interview him. What? Bro, this is like goofball, LOL Mitch. This is where Mitch for Klitz deserves a title. We are embarrassing ourselves. The same way I think Tibbs got himself fired. I think the Knicks are embarrassing us right now by signaling that they want guys who are under contract and seeing great success with their teams. Kidd took them to the finals. Ime Udoka took them out of poverty and took them to the playoffs. Why would these coaches want to leave their scenario? Now you got Chris Finch, Western Conference Finals. Why would any of these guys look at the Knicks and say, yeah, I want to leave my cushy job with lower expectations and go do a championship or bust scenario with the New York Knicks under James Dolan? That, to me, is the biggest issue that I have with the situation. I am on the side of let's draft an assistant. Yes, they have no experience, but you don't know what they are. You don't know what their faults are yet. And the guys who are available, there's way too many faults across the board.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at, Lee. Like, you get rid of Tibbs, cool. Like I said before, like I felt like Tibbs has done well for the playoffs in general. The Pacers matchup could have been different if he made the adjustments a little bit quicker than he did. I definitely recognize that was a big flaw, probably why we lost that series. However, like I said, it just feels like we just didn't have a plan. So we feel like we just, oh, you, how about you? Oh, you? And it's like, like, bro, like, what are we doing here? We don't know, like a chicken with the head cuts off. We asking for Ime Udoka.
Yeah, with the whole rumors and stuff, like, we've been Knicks fans for a minute. And that's why you don't respond until things happen. And especially with this person, the front office, we've heard a lot of so-called rumors and things that happened that never happened, and things that never were reported didn't happen. Like the Mikal Bridges thing, that came out of nowhere. You get what I mean? Like there was no whispers really around that. It was something that came out of nowhere. So like I just take all this with a grain of salt. And it shows to me that you're going to hate us anyway. That people hate New York. They're not trying to help us anyway. Let us. Why would I respect you having a coach? If you're gonna let me interview with them, I'm going to interview with them. Nobody's giving us anything. So if we have to take something, we got to take something. And if the other coach wants to be here, then he wants to be here. That's his. I guess that's him and his organization's decision. I don't have any problem with that. I don't. I really don't. It's not like we're getting this great title no matter what. We spent 5 years and have been upward motion, and we still get the butt end of the stick in the media. It's always going to be Knicks for clicks because they know we're very in tune for our team. So that's never going to die. That the Knicks for clicks would never die because we're going to read every article, so we can call you stupid about it. But we're going to read it. We're going to read it in detail.
Nah, I mean, you gotta at some point you gotta not do stupid stuff too.
Yeah,
I mean, the Knicks
get,
aren't leaking it
but
at the same time.
I felt that we've been on we've been on an uptrend of respect, and they're still not going to give it to us. That's what I'm saying. We've done the correct way. We've gotten a name brand coach. We stuck with him for 5 years, and it still was no respect. It's still Nick for clicks. It's always going to be. So like my mom's always tell me, you got to make moves without thinking about what the next is going to say, because somebody's always going to have something to say.
What were you saying, Fritz?
No, I said I don't think it's so uncommon that interview style of going high to low. That's the corporate. That's what you do in corporate America. You, especially if you're going to hire somebody who everybody's going to question, you say, I interviewed everyone. I interviewed high, I interviewed medium, and I got low, and this is who I choose. Now you can't say that this person jumped the line, especially when you're hiring someone doesn't think is qualified. That's something that's very, very common.
I don't think it's the high to low thing. It's they have a job.
I know, but I know it's a job, but like you're putting out there, hey, this person is qualified, even though they may not be qualified.
Well, I think the argument against it is that I haven't seen any other team except for the Clippers when they stole Doc Rivers and had trade a pick. That's the only time I've ever heard of a team interviewing candidates who are already under contract. Yeah. And it would come out because a team whose coach is being interviewed, if that shit pissed them off, they're leaking that. They don't let the media know, which makes a team who's asking for questions let bad, which is why we've let bad.
I mean, but the Knicks haven't leaked it. What are they doing? The Knicks haven't leaked it, and also Leon Rose doesn't come from basketball. Teams have. Like
the other team have.
It's the fact that we're doing it for them to leak it.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, but Leon Rose doesn't come from basketball.
Yeah, nobody from our end has confirmed any of this or not. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this is just rumors, like hearsay, she said, and we hear about the rumors because this front office has been very tight-lipped. I can't believe they're just gonna get loose-lipped now.
Well, okay, like I said before, there are rumors that you listen to, rumors you don't listen to. The ones that are really reporting are from people that I trust. So when I'm saying it's out there, I'm reading Ian reports that I trust that said they went after Ime. They're inquiring about Jason Kidd and they're inquiring about Chris Finch. And Ian also reported that we were turned down by Ime and the Rockets have no interest in having him interview with us. So like I'm not pulling that out my. There's other rumors about the Jason Kidd going up and down and he's not being interviewed and now he is. Like that's confusing. There's a lot of other confusing stuff happening, but those things are the things that I'm focused on right now. That it seems like okay, why are these things confirmed? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, where there's smoke, there's always fire. You don't have smoke without fire.
Yeah. And the only thing I'll say is
I don't think anything is always 100%, but I do think that it is. I don't doubt that we are interviewing people with a job already. That I don't doubt.
I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, it's seeming like Jason Kidd might still be in play.
I think it's out of desperation. I don't even think it's out of mutual interest. I think it's out of pure desperation. That's why it looks so bad. I don't think they sat back like we've always wanted this person and Tibs is gone now. Let's go get. I think it's literally like we lost a good coach. We got to get a better one. and these are the ones that are better, and that's why it looks.
I don't agree with that one.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is like when I look at the whole Tibs thing, in so many instances we'll talk about in life, no risk, no reward. You know, like and you look at the Mark Jackson thing, like everyone's like, oh, but like, what if we don't find our Steve Kerr? Well, they didn't know that they were finding their Steve Kerr. Like they knew that they got a guy that like played ball, that they felt like they could take a flyer on, that had basketball IQ, and no one knew if Steve Kerr was going to be a great basketball coach. Like you can't say, you can say now looking back, well, yeah, it's Steve Kerr, but no one at that time was going, oh my goodness, they just hired Steve Kerr.
And that's why we
They're
don't go
about to
after
build a
these
dynasty.
guys right now, because we know who they are. We know who Emu Udoka is. We know who all these Jason Kidd is. We saw them do their work, so we're not taking a risk with them. We're taking them away from their prodigy.
No. What I'm talking about is earlier we were talking about not having a guaranteed of like upgrading from what was, but they didn't know that Kerr was going to be an upgrade. They just knew that where they were going with Mark, that he had reached a ceiling. They were thankful for what he did, but they hit a ceiling. And if you look, if you were able to go, yo, Phil, you're wrong. Look what Tibs did back in Chicago. Like he was able to get over this hump back in the day in Chicago. Oh, no, wait, no, he wasn't. Okay, crap. All right, Phil, look what he did when he was in Minnesota. Look how he came over that hump. Oh, wait, crap. I'm looking at history. It didn't, you know? And so a lot of the things that years later are rearing their ugly head, you have to start looking elsewhere. I agree that if all of this is true of us, like pretty much, you know, Jehovah Witness like style, you know, door to door, team to team, knocking on doors, asking if we could have their coach, like that's obnoxious, you know, like, and I hope that it comes out with some untruth about that, you know. But you've seen that with the Knicks all the time. Like apparently we were doing that with all the players last year, you know, like, oh, the Knicks are asking about this person, that person. And then later on you find out, no, they weren't. They were working on an OG deal the whole time, or they were working on, you know, this deal the whole time. So a lot of times we end up thinking, because the Knicks seem to always be involved in every star trade, every this trade, every that trade. Like all of a sudden we're buying, you know, so-and-so Spice to be on the front, you know, celebrity row so Emmanuel quickly could play well, and we're giving her season tickets because he likes her. Like everything's a Knicks story, you know, until you find out, okay, Ice Spice never even had a chance with Quickly. Okay, we never actually went after this player. You know, like I'm hoping that's what we hear when it comes to this whole thing, you know, because you got to think, if there are, you got to think we're probably one of the most hated teams in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So why would other?
Oh, damn!
He went too hard to paint.
Damn, connection cooked. Phil was cooking in connection.
He was cooking.
He said some bars today.
You know, so my whole thing is I'm not going to trust it until it comes out as fact, and then I could be like, "Yo, Leon, that was a knucklehead move." Okay, but. Last 2 seasons, I've been able to say, Leon, I'm surprised at what you did. Hats off.
Yeah, I'm only trusting it because it's Ian saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all. But to move forward the conversation, because I know we got to hit other topics. Jason Kidd seems to be the front runner. I'm passing Borto Lee, our resident Dallas writer who has a lot of inside information on the Dallas Mavericks, who's watched the Dallas Mavericks and tuned with the fan base. What do you think about the possibility of Jason Kidd being in there?
We could avoid all this if we were like every other competent team in the NBA and we had an assistant that as soon as Tom Thibodeau was fired can step right into that role. You saw it in Memphis. You saw it in Denver. You've seen it across the board. Most assistants that have had success, or new coaches who had no experience had success, were assistants. Ty Lue was David Blatt's assistant, and he was able to win a championship with that team. I hate that Tibs was fired, and all eyes are on Rick Brunson's bum ass, who I personally think had a lot to do with the Tom Tibb ouster, and that's why I want him out of MSG as soon as possible. I only see him as a poisonous force. Othello Harrington, old ass Mo Cheats, Mark Bryant. It's like the name Dave Erdman, bro. Embarrassing.
You don't Jason think Kidd, having Rick Brunson fired could be a ripple effect?
No, I don't think it's a fire.
Only Brunson.
Huh? Optically, I think we're moving in a different direction. Rick Brunson has a $10 million role in the organization and doing whatever he wants, but he's not on the bench. I think it needs to be a fresh bench. I don't like the idea of keeping Daddy's boy on the bench to cook with a brand new coach who might not vibe with him. Him and Thibs vibe until they didn't. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Jason Kidd. Yes, I live in Dallas. Been to probably 30 or 40 games since Jason Kidd was hired. Been to dozens and dozens throughout my life. The Kidd hiring was interesting because it came right after the firing of their championship coach and Rick Carlisle, who was criticized for being kind of too harsh on Luka Doncic, for misusing KP, for not always using all of his rotation, for not trusting young guys, for butting heads with Rondo. But he was beloved because you always knew what you were getting Tib style with at least a Western Conference run or a semifinals run. He always overachieved, and he did everything he could at the Dirty Championship, and he delivered in 2011. Jason Kidd's a different story. Jason Kidd is very controversial in Dallas. The same way, remember the Knicks days was like fire Cheney or fire Larry. You heard that chat throughout MSG during the Zeke era. There are Jason Kidd, fire Jason Kidd chants in AAC and have been well before we Luka Doncic trade. There's a lot of frustration at Jason Kidd for some things that might sound familiar to Mavs fans, like misuse of timeouts, not calling timeouts when the opposing team is going on 18-0 or 20-2 runs, not using your entire rotation, keeping players like Mats Prosper, Jaden Hardy on the bench, Brandon Williams on the bench, playing veteran guys way too many minutes and out of role. PJ Tucker at the 3, or using Najee Marshall at the 1, or using Derek Lively at the 4. These are issues that have plagued him for being number 1 or number 2 in ISO possessions in almost every year he's been with the Mavs. They've been top 1 or top 2 behind Philadelphia and us. That sounds very familiar. Now, what he is an excellent defensive coach, and he gets the best defense out of role players. That sounds familiar too. Dante Exum, Derek Jones Jr. These were strap heap guys that Mass and Nico found, and he utilized them to be able to guard 1 through 5 at different props. That would be a huge upgrade because the Mavs have defended perimeter under Kidd very well. But that's not all there is to what we need from this new coach. We need both offense and defense. We need someone who is at that bit of stage and doesn't choke. Jason Kidd got absolutely outcoached and outclassed by Joe Mazzulla, and every advantage that Kidd had against OKC or Minnesota fell by the wayside. The Mavs chucked way too many threes. They went way too ISO with Kyrie and Luka, and Kyrie fell apart in the finals and shot civil rights numbers from the field, from 3 and from the field because of the overuse. Does that sound familiar too? So Jason Kidd, wow, has a decent resume, does have a recent finals trip, is not a better coach option than Tom Thibodeau, and comes with the same flaws as Tom Thibodeau too. And everyone says every fan base hates your coach. Yes, but the hatred for Rick Carlisle is stales in comparison to the current hatred of Jason Kidd. Just look on Twitter and all the Mavs fans saying, "Get him out. I hope the Mavs take him." That's that way for a reason.
And this is why I actually specific.
He cooked.
This is why I actually specific. And this is why I was saying, it's like, cool, we got rid of Tibs. All right, we got to make sure the next move is the right move. We're not making a lateral move because it's the name and the relationships and because that's what it seems like it's heading. Like, and you know, it seems like we kind of have a more trend on the younger, maybe the Johnny Bryant, maybe, I don't know, maybe even, I don't know. Bronson, I don't know. I mean, we had the Grizzlies ex-coach, maybe. I might be Taylor Jenkins.
I just want to say about Rajon Rondo, without giving too much. No. No. When you talk about a guy that is stubborn and borderline a-hole-ish, that's Rajon Rondo.
He is crazy. I can't admit that.
Rajon Rondo, and I'm not talking just out my butt. This is from people I know around, who have been around him. We're talking about.
He showed it in his NBA.
No, we know that. So. We just know he's really smart.
Yeah, he's really smart, but you can't be really smart and an asshole because then you'll lose. Sorry, a-hole. Then you'll lose your locker room, and you're gonna have players trying.
Nobody really cares what an a-hole has to say.
No,
even if it's smart.
I'm just hoping it's just not like a knee-jerk reaction. You know, when you get out of a bad relationship, you try to get someone who's the opposite. You know what I mean? I just hope, because Tibbs' soft skills have been horrible. His soft skills, talking to players, dealing with their problems, dealing with their injuries. He just didn't care. I just hope they don't get someone just running the other direction. It's like, hey, this is a player's coach.
Now,
And
I
don't
get
worry
that too.
about the X's and O's. You know what I mean?
Facts, but my thing is, I don't want to coach with the
Thibs.
same flaws as Tibs. Please, and I don't know if
Mhm.
anybody's seen my Twitter
Yeah.
post. I've went from twins to triplets to clones.
Right, because a lot of the
Because
coaches are
everybody,
the similar Mike
yeah, it's saying
Malone,
it's
the
cut
Mike
from the
Budenholzer.
Tibbs cloth.
Yeah.
It's cut from the Tibbs cloth.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody. If anything, being organized. And even then, that was a question. I kept hearing he was the most organized
Yeah.
coach, and the mofos is cutting the same way and guarding the same person by
Yeah.
accident. So I don't know.
That's a cook.
Again.
No, I
Again,
think that's going to be what Phil, like, just to combine everybody's take. I think you got to take the rumors with a grain of salt, but it's going to be somebody completely out of left field in typical Knicks fashion. It's not going to be somebody that anybody's even
I hope
saying,
so.
thinking about. Or
Yeah.
I hope so.
I need a new voice, because Tibbs has done this team so much injustice that people think that our wins are flukes now. Like, he's done so much injustice that the first round, second round, people were just saying we got lucky kind of vibes because of how we underplayed against the Pacers. I had somebody tell me that the Pacers had more pieces than us. That hurt my soul.
It's funny to say that, so that means the Thunder's losses, wins got to be questioned then too. They just
that hurt my soul though. But for them to say that hurts, because to me, paper wise, this is the best team I've ever seen the Knicks have.
You too.
That is true.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not even talking about just top heavy. I mean, like 1 through 10. This is the best team we've had. And for our coach to still still have we were injured. Oh, you in the dark?
Yeah, you know how I plugged it up so it wouldn't be in the dark, and somehow it wasn't charging. That's crazy how that works, right?
Yeah, for real. It's not like my phone. Don't worry about it.
It wasn't all the way plugged up.
But that's my whole thing.
Do you
with the clones? They clones. I said it with Mike Malone. The first one I said, as soon as we heard Tibs is fired, no Mike Malone.
Right.
Then I listened to Lee, and I did my own research. No Jason Kidd. If they have the similar flaws that led to our demise, we don't want them. If we have somebody that does not develop our talent, cannot ingest in game, has questions of bad lineups, we don't need you. If defense and rebound is not a key, we don't need you. If you have an outdated offense, we do not need you. If you only run 7-8 men, we don't need you. That's it. So yeah, they can have similarities to Tibbs. Try not his flaws though. Anything that's flawed with Tibbs, no, because that led to his demise. His flaws literally led to his demise. So why would I want anybody with those?
I would even say that, like, if he had similar, things to Tibbs, but I saw drastically different results, I'd be like, okay, let's take that risk. But if you look, the win percentage isn't much higher, like in the regular season or in the playoffs. Like, it's not like his numbers make you look past the same flaws that you just walked away from. Mm-hmm. And that's why I have to believe that the front office is smart enough to see what we see. Because you got to see that even though us as Knicks were like moving past and we're like, oh man, you're walking away from, a winning coach. They're walking away from a winning coach that they have way deeper ties than just basketball. Like, they have deep rooted ties on and off the court. And it's just as important for them to come away with wins, if not more, after walking away from something like that. Because you're telling us to keep on buying into the changes that you're making. And if it ends up sending us back, they know the weight of that. They know the weight of that. So I think that this is something that they're not going to take so lightly and let Tibbs go without thinking this through. Like, Leon, if you would have done this like 4 years ago, I would have had tons of questions and frustrations. But I feel like in the last 2 seasons, Leon has done enough to make me go, this front office has not made knee-jerk decisions that have set us back 2 or 3 years. Agreed. Like we used to see back in the day. So until he does that, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think that that's the problem, is a lot of people want to give Tibbs the benefit of the doubt, even though if you look at the history, the doubts make a lot more sense than the doubts to the front office, because the front office has shown change and growth and progression. as more so than Tibbs' coaching did. So for me, I'm going, okay, this is a big thing, but I'm going to trust until they give me a reason not to. Because the last 2 seasons, they've shown me that they can do things that I didn't think they could in a lawsuit, yet they still have a chance, a reason to get OG from the freaking coach that, the owner that we're suing. Like that's good stuff. That's stuff that makes you go, how the heck did they pull this off? Or loopholes that they found that the NBA gets so pissed. Like, how did the Knicks find this loophole to be able to do this? So I think that they're thinking this through. Yes, there's emotions a part of it, but I don't think that Leon Rose and James Dolan solely run on like that. I don't think they're solely fueled by emotions. I think they take everything into concern, business, professionalism, what it does for the, longevity of their pockets, as well as if the viewers are going to get pissed and kind of dip out. So I'm hoping for something good in the next few weeks. And if they screw it up and they mess it up, then we'll all get back on the pod and we'll crucify them the way that we crucify anyone who makes a mistake.
That's another question I asked, like, because this coach is going to come into a tough spot, no matter what. There's a lot of Tibbs supporters because a lot of people are scared. I truly believe scared of change. They don't want to go back. Yeah. So they rather keep what they had in the fear of the unknown. And I get that.
It's not even that. It's just
how much time? Yeah, how much time does it get? Are we really going to give this coach a fair chance?
It's not even about the coach a fair chance. It's about a plan to me. It's all about a plan to me, not the fair chance part. But
oh no, I get what I'm talking about in general, because I already know the coach. We get it. We think a little differently over here. But period, I'm talking about in the masses. How much time do you think they're really going to give this coach and a lot of people? And how much is going to be petty and bitter conversations versus that? I true that it's going to be a lot of conversation and bad faith around this topic.
Okay, so you know what? Let's move from this topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
We talked about this topic today. I'm sure everybody's passionate. They're set in their ways, but I do agree. I have my skepticism, but I will make my final decision about how I feel about whatever's happening when it happens. I just have my eyebrow is up right now. That's all I'm saying. My eyebrow is up. I'm waiting to see what happens. All right. Now we talked about change. We talked about change right now, Ebony. We talked about progression. We talked about being afraid to make the move. So I think this is a good time to talk about trades. All right.
Do it.
I know Fritz and Leave had some trade scenarios that they would like to present. I already know. I'm gonna tell you right now. Fritz's trade scenarios, when you talk about change and you talk about being bold,
I'm real specific. Yes.
Fritz is about
Don't make
bold.
me mad, Fritz. Don't make me mad.
Yeah. Oh, Fritz is gonna make everybody mad.
I'm here to make everybody
mad.
Let's hear it. Come on.
Specifically,
You heard me.
Remember what you said about being afraid to make the move? Remember that when you talking to Fritz and you see it straight.
No, I'm remember. I'm coming, Fritz. That's all.
Uh-huh.
Everything. Let's hear it.
Wait, should I start with the bazooka or should I start with the?
No, I did small, medium, large. I did small, medium.
Oh, you did small, medium, large. Okay, wait. So which one you have? Wait, small, medium, large. Which one do you want to start with first, Fritz? Because you named the files like 011, 04, or 3.
3.
3?
Uh-oh, he got files. I'm scared.
That smirk said it all.
He said, yeah, he said 3.
Is it Jaden McDaniels?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
No. Okay.
Are you guys watching on YouTube?
Is that 3? Yeah, okay. That's the one I gave you today, right?
I think so. Wait and see. I can replace it if it's not. Is that the correct one, Fritz?
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Actually, I should check on the.
Oh, I see it.
Yes, it is the one you gave me today. Go ahead.
Okay. So this idea. Okay, so this is if KD has to get traded. So I was trying to go teams I think KD would get traded to. And Minnesota was one of the trades. And my idea was not to get KD, but using the KD trade to get what we want. And basically, the Knicks would be sending out Josh Hart, Huck Porty, and
Oops.
McBride, and getting back Jaden McDaniels. And so
Yeah.
and then let me see the reason.
Too much, Fritz. Too much.
Okay, I know a lot of people are saying too much, but it costs. It costs. Everything costs.
Is Jalen McDaniels worth
Not unless
getting
you're the
rid
Lakers
of
and get Luka
3
Doncic.
players?
Yeah, but not those.
Everything costs. And if Tibbs played Huck Porty this year, Huck Porty would be worth more.
I agree with that.
Which is why you keep him to see that he is worth more.
But you have to try to
Who's gonna
second
back
the
up
defense
Mitch?
coming. Huh?
Who's gonna back up Mitch?
It's a fact.
Jaden McDaniels.
No, I think you kept Mitch. You kept Mitch, right, Fritz?
You kept
I
Mitch.
kept
That's my point. He's
Mitch's-
getting rid of Huck Porty, and that's who backs up Mitch.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Mitch
Because you're not
isn't
going to
starting.
keep pressure.
Jared,
Mitch-
go!
He already said he's not coming back.
Who's that?
No, Precious already said he's not coming back, right? He already confirmed.
No,
Jericho.
that's not confirmed.
Jericho.
No, it's going to be. It's almost
Jericho.
impossible to bring him back. So I think that's just everybody's talking about. It's hard for him to come back.
I do like the idea of that whole. I do like what you were starting to cook. It smells good, but you gotta lower the temperature. You're gonna burn a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Because I like
see,
the idea of KD
my-
going over to
Bards.
Minnesota and us taking something from Minnesota. I do like that idea.
Yeah.
You pay too
And I
much.
agree
the
because
reasoning.
Jaden is great, but you're crippling us, especially on the defensive and rebounding end for one player. Like, that's going to hurt our starting lineup and our bench, like, significantly. Because
Yeah.
if Mitchell Robinson is supposed to be that 5, and that's the change that we make for our starting lineup, is putting him
Yeah.
back in, we need a solid big. And Huck Porty is going to be the best substitution, especially style-wise, because he's very similar to Mitch. They've been working together. He's just a little quicker on his feet because he's not as big. And he's going to be able to get more and more of what, Mitchell Robinson pours into him. And then it's not going to be a drop-off when the bench comes in. And so you get him, you need him, because if not, we're back to now looking for a backup big, which is going to be a huge problem because we're not going to
That list is short
level
as heck.
for the price of what we have Huck Porty for. So, and then you take Josh Hart out of it. Okay, who's going to actually be our hustle player? Like, yes, he had some deficiencies in the playoffs, but if you look at the whole body of work of Josh Hart, he has been the heart and soul for a lot of this team and the effort. When some of our starters weren't having effort, they would see the Josh Hart effort, and that would spark something in those guys. So you can't get rid of all that. And then Deuce, who's a lockdown defender off the bench as well, for a solid defender in Jaden McDaniels. That's just a lot. That's giving up the whole restaurant for, a meal. It just doesn't make
Not even
sense.
a meal.
That package
Okay.
should low key give us
No,
Anthony
let me-
Edwards. That package should give us Anthony Edwards.
That,
I
that,
know
no,
Fritz
that's a
could.
side.
To clear it up, a trade is not going to fix the Knicks, and especially at the values that we have, unless you're willing to give up one of the big 3, the top 3. You're not gonna. It's not going to trickle down. So just the thought of my trade is add another starter and have Worldwide West is going to have to add to the bench.
Yeah.
And just the thought of that, you have to get used to that this summer because the Knicks really do want to add somebody, and that is going to take some consolidation. That's going to take away from the bench, and you're going to look at these trades and be like, "Huh? Why they do that?" But then on the back end, Worldwide West will have to fill in
understand the logic.
what he took out.
I understand the logic of but it's like, if you're going to give up 3 players and get back 1, the one has to be a better
He
sum
better
of
be
his
better than all
parts.
3 of them.
You can't have
It can't
the
be
one player to come back be like a mediocre role player like the players coming out.
Jaden
Not
is a
saying-
mediocre role player, an ascending player. player at
I
a
agree.
great
I
salary.
mean, for that package, we might as well get Julius Randle back.
Ascending player at a great salary.
Nah,
I
he's
think-
great, but it's not a big enough needle mover.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know,
Like-
but you're gonna have to fill it in on the back end. Like you
But
can't.
that's the thing. If
You
that's
just
the
gave a
kind of
lot to
trade,
get for us to fill in on the back end.
I know,
Yeah.
but if you want Paul George, like who's not
Nah,
as a great a
Don't
value,
even
you
mention Paul
you can
George in
always
the
get-
Knicks, please.
if
I know,
it's,
but
if it's
that's what
that
I'm
much,
saying.
if it's that much for a guy who doesn't move our needle, then we need to just solely focus on the bench. Like that's it. Like he doesn't
Facts.
do enough for us to make us rob our starters and our bench for it to then leave us deficient. Like that doesn't make sense. Like
also
for,
terrible
for
in the
that
playoffs.
kind of trade, you don't do it. Like you just don't.
I go nay.
My bad,
Okay,
Fritz.
yeah.
We
Hey,
love
what's-
you. We
what's
love
the
you,
next-
Fritz. My
what's
bad.
the
We
next
need to
one,
go
Fritz?
jumped on him.
No,
Yeah, he know he good.
He's
So what's the
already
next one?
done.
Next. What's the next
I-
one, Fritz?
I
don't
do
even-
understand the logic. I
No,
think you're
I
paying
like the
a lot.
angle, yeah.
You're paying a lot on Worldwide West to bring in a Deuce McBride replacement. I looked at Tyus Jones in the year he had in Phoenix. Defensively, he's a cone, worse than Kolek, and had a down year with assist numbers while given the starting position. I don't know if that's a good substitution. And Jaden McDaniels, to me, defensively is better than all three players that you named, even Deuce. He's better because of his wingspan and size,
Right.
but his
But that's
three-point
it.
shot is so inconsistent.
That's it.
Now you have another Josh Hart situation.
Right.
Dude shot 33% from three this year. Yes, he's ascending as an overall talent two-way, but the shot is not there to make this 5 out. Not worth
I
it.
agree. Too many flaws for
That
the one good
Yeah.
thing that he does is just too many flaws to give up three players for.
Mhm.
What else we got, Fritz? What else we got? Let me know what number.
Let me see.
And that was his light one, so I'm scared now.
Oh yeah, it gets crazy. It gets crazy.
I love it.
Okay, hold on.
What is he gonna say next?
Okay, 11. I sent you today.
Holy cow.
Number 11.
Number 11. Okay, hold on
Yeah.
a second.
Phil, we go.
For real.
Okay, man.
He's trying to get everybody.
Fritz, this is what Fritz does.
Fritz is the one that starts the trade rumors. I'm starting to think.
Yeah, I
he's
think
the one
you
who-
gotta check the handles and he using the VPN and whatever. I don't
He's
know.
he's sending them out.
On the Steve Popper burner.
Yeah, he's definitely Steve.
Yeah.
He's definitely Fritz Popper. Yeah. All right, Fritz, go ahead. Number 11.
This is Knicks taking back a controversial player,
No.
Miles Bridges.
I'm sorry.
I know, and I know a lot of people are even me.
Next.
I'm on.
Next.
One of the few players that you can get back more than you gave up.
Huh.
And he would he's a 3, plays defense decent enough, would definitely add an offensive punch. And also adding Keon Ellis, who would go out, Josh Hart, Mitch, I know you're not happy, and that Washington first.
Mitch stays.
Can I? You finished? Can I go?
I know,
get started
Ebony,
now.
I know.
Get started
This is
now.
for you, Ebony.
You
This is
gonna
for you,
get rid of
Ebony.
Mitch for the woman beater?
Yes.
You gonna get rid of Mitch for a woman beater? I don't want that man nowhere near my team.
No.
He deserved everything he got coming to him, minus the Knicks.
Oh no. But in general, Ebony, this is one question for Ebony. If someone could, is their background that important?
Yes, very,
See,
very,
Fritz,
very,
you're playing. You're
very,
about to bring,
very,
and
very.
you're
I
going to
believe
bring
in karma,
Miles
Fritz.
Bridges to New York City. New
I
York City to
believe
play
in
for
karma.
the New
I'm
York
sorry.
Knicks.
I'm a karma type of person. The signs, karma, empathy, compassion. That's me. Hell no. It means a lot. The person on my team, and he did not deserve.
He
I
would tarnish everything.
no.
I
that
would
we
trip
have.
him if I ever
Lee-
seen him.
Lee knows last year I was like a no on Miles Bridges, but
And then you gonna get rid of Mitch for him?
But I could admit, Fritz,
Mitch
that
wouldn't
if
be
you
going to
take-
Charlotte.
I can admit, if you take his recent controversy story out, he has been playing very well. He had a great season this season, and he is somebody, because of the controversy, people will deliver him for very low. So I understand. However, you can't sit back and say that somebody's background isn't important. That's exactly why Tom Thibodeau just got fired.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't say it
History.
wasn't important.
It's background.
Here's the thing.
Y'all keep bringing up
like-
Chicago and Minnesota. Why?
Yeah.
Because it got him fired in the Knicks, and I don't want to hear anyone. I don't want to hear have one, let alone one ESPN debate about what Miles Bridges did and him in a New York uniform. We already talked about enough.
I seen people say they won a championship with all cause. I get it. I get you want that, but I'm sorry. I'm never gonna sell your soul to a devil type person. That's not me.
No. And listen, basketball wise, if we're just talking basketball, Miles Bridges is a baller. Like, but before all the controversy, he is one. You go back 3 or 4 seasons, you know, when I was on the other channel that we got screwed out of, you would see me talking about trade for Miles Bridges. Like, this guy needs to be in a big city, like playing ball. But character-wise, I can't turn a blind eye to that, first of all. Second of all, this is one of the things that, even if there wasn't a controversy, you look at that. Wait a minute. Our coaching staff did not develop a young Huck Porty or any backup to Mitchell Robinson. How do we trade the only starting center caliber player that we have right now? Well, we can't. We shot ourselves in the foot with that. Even when Mitch wasn't playing in the season, we didn't give Huck Porty burn in the early part of the season before he got hurt. So he is not at a place where, regardless of how much untapped potential he is, it's still untapped. He still has to develop under actually getting playing time. So we would then be stuck again going, okay, now where do we get a starting center? Well, what actual starting centers are going to bring the caliber of what Mitchell Robinson brings to us at the price point that Mitchell Robinson is available for us? Zero. Who wants to be here as a center as much as Mitchell Robinson does? No one. Regardless of what he says on Instagram or TikTok, that's him speaking out of hurt, because Knicks fans don't know when to shut up and kind of ease back. So, of course, he's going to be like, whatever, I don't need to be here. But he shows every time he's out there that he wants to be here. So you don't replace something like that at a low price that is like so valuable to us for something else, and then hope you find a home run somewhere else. That just doesn't make sense.
But Phil, the assumption here was that Mitchell Robinson isn't starting. But the assumption here is that Mitchell's starting.
Hopefully that new coach is smart enough to understand that he needs to be starting.
Yeah, and even then, we don't have anybody right now. So maybe if this trade came up with a different player, not Miles Bridges of the same caliber, but it's like we announced that we signed this really great center, then it's a conversation you could have. But without even knowing that you can get someone even half as good as Mitch right now, like Mitch to me in the playoffs, he proved to me that you don't touch him if you don't have to. Like, that's one thing that Mitchell Robinson did in that playoffs was make me go, okay, I don't need him to be a great, like, offensive player, because his effort has shown that is through the roof now, where he's not complaining about not getting enough touches. He's just saying, I'm going to show that I'm needed on this team, that I'm a staple. And he proved that.
Tokus or Wemby, no thank you.
Yeah.
At the same time, when they brought in Cat, they brought Cat in to be a center.
But they should.
They both
that's
not
why I
according
never
to
wanted
Tibs.
That's why I never wanted
Not according
Cat
to
here.
Tibs.
I am going to tell you again. There's a reason Minnesota traded their everything to get Rudy Gobert next to Cat. There was a reason for that.
Yep.
This is somebody that's seen Cat year after year grow. This is their rookie.
Fair.
Yep.
Like there was a reason for that. And again,
and hold
on real quick. Sorry, Phil, if I forget. We have an offensive we have offensive superstars, right? That y'all wouldn't dare to touch. If we talk about JB and his clutch, we wouldn't dare to touch. Why is that not so for the defensive side? Why is that not so for the defensive side when that is the most important side of the game? Why is that not? Why don't we say, oh, Mitch Robinson, a year playoff after playoff showed us just how much we need him and just what he brings. But every offseason, we trying to trade this man.
Yep.
For what? To me, Mitchell Robinson's untouchable because defensively, not even because I'm a fan, defensively, when were you the most confident?
Okay, well, hold that thought, Ebony, because we got more trades to come, all right?
I already know. Mitch and
You
all
hear
of them.
Fritz's last one.
I already know. Mitch
actually,
and all of them.
No, I really wouldn't put it in because it's for one coach, and like if one specific coach came, it would have to be for that one coach.
Let's hear it.
Chris,
And I see a Mitch hater. I see you. I can spot
Everything
you
is
from a
hypothetical
distance.
anyway,
Not
so
you,
let's
Fritz.
hear it.
I ain't talking about you, Fritz.
I know,
It's,
but I'm just
Coach,
saying
Coach
it's specific to.
Malpika. I see you. I see you. What you spelling, and that spells Mitch hater. I have to read between the lines. You asked if Mitch was a starter once. What basketball? And now this is because you're asking for attention.
I'm just saying,
What?
like,
Not you, Fritz. I'm sorry. I'm going off on the chat. What games have you been watching that you asking is Mitch a starter? What playoffs has you been watching? If these are still the questions you answer, and if Mitch's ability and agility didn't show you that he's been working on his body, and if his outgoing post didn't show you that he's going to be in this gym this summer, if that post didn't show you that he's going to be in this gym this summer, what does that look like? I don't know what to tell you. That man's untouchable. He's elite at what he does. He had people that everybody that y'all wanted to trade him for, he had me telling them, you need some milk.
Hello. He looked better than the MVP in one series. He looked better than the MVP in one series.
Miles Turner, name him. Jalen Duran, Isaiah Stewart, name him. Like a Chrysler 300 to a Phantom. That's what Mitch is. He pull up the Phantom, pull up. You realize, oh, you wasn't like that. Come on,
That's a pickup truck. Technically, got to be the
I got a
finest
lot of
pickup truck
respect
for
for Fritz dropping a match in the chat and just being ballsy with the Tates. Give him a lot of props there. I am team never trade Mitch for a reason. So when I saw this, it's automatically a no for me because I'm not trading Mitch for probably anybody, but maybe one or two superstars. I think he's that valuable on defense. I will say on the abuse side, we do. Rick Brunson was our lead assistant. He was arrested for aggravated assault, aggravated sexual assault. Some of our greatest legends, like Anthony Mason, also beat his girlfriend, and he's kind of redeemed in a
Jason
very
Kidd.
Jason Kidd as well. So I don't think our organization has ever said no to these guys, as they're currently not saying no to these guys. But I agree with the don't add another one. Definitely agree. And I think Rick Brunson should be kicked out as well. Don't add another one. If Miles Bridges did not have all that issues, this is actually a pretty good trade if you remove the Knick fan out of it. If you're not a Mitch lover and a Knick fan on paper, it's an upgrade. Bridges is an unbelievable scorer, and Keon Ellis is what Jaden McDaniels is, a rising two-way star. So I see the vision, Fritz, but there's some serious real-life details. Mitch's impact on defense, Miles Bridges being a scumbag that make this, to me, not palatable.
This is the only thing I'll say.
I knew it was controversial when I made it.
I just want to say one thing on that before we move on to the next one. Backing Ebony, here's the thing. You keep Karl-Anthony Towns on this team, and you need Mitchell Robinson.
Yes.
Like, it is a need. If he is your 4, he is a need. He is too much of a defensive liability as he is to not have a defensive mastermind like Mitchell Robinson next to him. You make up the deficiencies where they need to be made. So if Karl-Anthony Towns wasn't on our team and you had an elite defensive 4, then maybe that trade makes a little more sense. But the way we're structured right now, you can't. And a lot of people who want to talk about Cat was supposed to be our 5, if not according to Coach Tibs, when he was talking about our season, which is what pissed me off about him not playing Huck 40, it was Tibbs' own words that said, we haven't been playing with our starting center all year, and we will once Mitchell Robinson comes back. So he was saying that that roster was constructed for Mitch to always be the 5. So if that is true and Tibbs wasn't just trying to save himself as like, this is why we're losing is because we don't have our 5, like Cat was always supposed to be the 4. And that makes sense to me because that's how it worked in Minnesota. It didn't work with him as the 5 in Minnesota. So why would it work in New York? So for me, Mitch has to stay, especially if you're going to keep Karl-Anthony Towns in your starting lineup.
Agreed. Good. Well said. I actually said the same thing to Brian when I visited Dexter. I was like, if Cat's here, we have to keep Mitch.
Mitch Hobb just got called the Frank Hobb. And for that, you could eat Frank. Sorry.
All right. All right. We can end on that note and get to the next trade scenario.
Okay. This one I even hated, but
you
no, not that I hated it. I had to show somebody something. Okay. You can put it up.
Which was,
and I'll tell you why.
It's 04 or 05?
I forgot what this
004 or 005?
005.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
I feel like this is Ebony-esque.
yeah. This is
Oh, I love
this
this.
is
This is
I
Ebony-esque.
love this. Yo,
this is Dan
now.
Hurley.
do it now.
This is Dan Hurley. If Dan Hurley was coach, this is what I would do.
Do it now.
I got here.
And that is trading Karl-Anthony Towns because Dan Hurley is not gonna no. So you're trading Karl-Anthony Towns, Huck Porty, and we're getting back Jalen Johnson
I'm Jalen Johnson.
from Atlanta,
Absolutely.
Dalton Neck from the Lakers, and Jared Vanderbilt and a couple picks.
Love it. Love this trade.
Can we swap Huck Porty? Can we swap Huck Porty? Put someone else next to Towns?
I tried it with Kolek and it didn't work. It's like 600,000. There's probably some ways they can probably fix it, but yeah.
What about Dadier?
Hell no.
There's probably ways they can fix it. Some backwards ways. Yeah, we could probably use. Yeah, we could
I want
probably
to see the
use.
chat
like,
reaction on this.
Fritz,
one.
I will fire you if you was the GM.
Here we
no,
go.
no, and I
Let's
I
go.
said
Let's
this
get it.
is
Let's
this
go.
is Dan Hurley. This is
So
Dan
you're
Hurley.
telling me, and Lee, you two, all y'all nodded.
Yeah, I love
Jalen
it.
Johnson is better than Karl Towns, and then
No,
again
he's
you're
not.
giving up the
He's not.
backup center
No, he's
for
not.
one
not.
guy.
No,
Not
3
better.
guys in 2 picks.
Yeah.
Who was the other guy from Atlanta you wanted to get real quick too? You said Jalen Johnson and who? You said Dyson
No,
Daniels.
and then
You
the
said
rest
Dyson
are
Daniels
Lakers.
sold.
No, the rest are Lakers. So Dalton Neck,
Vanderbilt.
the shooter, Jared Vanderbilt,
Jalen
defender.
love
Vanderbilt
this
is
trade.
terrible. We need people who can play. He hasn't played in like 10
I know, but
seasons.
2 picks also. But if I'm talking about Dan Hurley style, this is Dan Hurley style. Because, like, yeah,
Now
Conley
this
just wouldn't be it.
is a philosophical.
this is Dan Hurley.
This is a
like I'm telling you, if the
philosophical
Knicks
conversation right now.
if the Knicks
I like
hire
it.
Dan Hurley, this team will not look the same.
This is a philosophical conversation right now.
Because Dan Hurley, he wants to play the game like we're pressing all game long, and
love
you
the
need
shit.
bodies.
Yeah.
And you need
Are
bodies.
you gonna press all day with Jalen Brunson?
What?
Philip,
There's no cat there.
If Jalen plays 25 minutes, Jalen plays 25 minutes. That's the type of thing
This
where he's at. Like you're not gonna be lazy.
out of here because Jalen Brunson's not playing 25 minutes.
I know, but if that's all the energy he has, that's all the energy he has. Like
Can I get a
we're playing all game.
hold
Can I get a
on. B. I'm rocking with you this one. I'm rocking with you. All right.
Because I need what y'all had earlier. I'm telling you.
I'm rocking with you this one because I had this philosophical conversation with them.
Because we're not. He's not a coaster. You're not gonna coast for 40 minutes. You're not gonna coast for 40 minutes with Dan Hurley. Like
It's coaching.
we're gonna play hard when you're in the game. If you're tired, I'll get you out of the game. But we're not coasting.
Are we going too far with over relying on Jalen Brunson to create everything by just going complete offense for complete defense, except for a role playing shooter? Because I felt like the strength of our team this year was we were able to sit Jalen Brunson on the bench and everything would not completely fall apart. If you make this move, we're kind of reverting back a little bit to, once Jalen Brunson's on the bench, you just kind of hope we have enough.
And you're telling me when you take Jalen Brunson over, you put Jalen Johnson by himself. What are we gonna do? Tell me, Fritz. What are we gonna do? It's
Damn,
exactly crickets.
We
Nothing.
still got OG. We still got Mikal. We still got. You still got everybody in there. It's just Towns isn't there.
Yeah, I would love for him to stay there.
I know, but Towns.
Unless again you're
it
giving
has to do with the
Giannis
coach.
Antetokounmpo.
I always have a philosophy that is really
Mhm.
sometimes it's when you have a quarter and you trade it, when you have $1 and you trade it for 4 quarters, you probably shouldn't do it. And that's how I kind
No,
of feel
because
like
if
we
the quarters might fall out, you might lose one. Now you got
That's how I kind of feel
75
like I feel like we're going too. I feel like we're leaning too far on the offense defense thing. Because now we're just back to having when Jalen Brunson's on the bench,
already. You have a whole
you're
bunch of
just
stuff.
hoping that the other guys can hold up.
I want to make an argument in defense of Fritz.
By the way, I
and-
really like Jalen Johnson. He's a very good
Everybody
young
likes Jalen
forward,
Johnson.
by the way.
Yeah.
Very good gym.
I like
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson a
Yeah,
lot.
I like him. I like him a lot.
So
Sorry.
I'm defense first. I like this trade. I'm glad Fritz didn't include Mitchell Robinson or Deuce McBride in it, which makes me like it even more. I love the idea. This roster is a roster any coach in the NBA can come in and maximize because you don't have a defensive liabilities at the 1-5 and pick and roll with Cat and Brunson. Is Cat the best player in this trade? Absolutely. Is Jalen Johnson as good as Cat? Absolutely not. But Jalen Johnson is a rising player, one of the few to average 20, 10, and 5 this season. 5 assists at the 4 spot. I was doing a lot of research on him on advanced analytics. I plan on writing a piece on him for The Guardian as a Nets great NBA pro, and then he got injured. And everything went downhill. I had him projected as probably the runaway favorite for most improved player this year. I think he'll win it next year because he's probably going to average 25 or 26 next year with a fully defensive lineup that they have over there in Atlanta. He is an incredible defensive player, one-on-one, average 1.6 steals this year as well. His offensive game is growing. The only thing he needs to add is a consistent 3-ball. That's my one issue I have with this trade because now you're pairing him with Mitch. 2 guys at trouble spacing the floor. Unless you're activating Mitch as a lob threat in the pick and roll, this really complicates things offensively. Johnson has not yet stretched with a consistent 3-ball. He shot 31%. That's the downside. Then is a stretchy guy who can guard 1-5, the 1-5 in spades, but 2-4 consistently. And then Dalton Nets gives you 3-point shooting off the bench. I see the vision here. Plus a 13th pick in one of the best drafts in years. You can pretty much plug and play any positional need that you have, whether it's a 3 or a 4 or a 5. There's lots of options there. This is a trade that I would do to get off a $50 million deal and get a $25-30 million extended Jalen Johnson, have more financial flexibility. I absolutely see the vision. Johnson is a future all-star by probably next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just want to say to Lee's point also about Jalen Johnson and the spacing. It kind of reminds me he has a handle. He can get to the rim. It kind of reminds me of RJ. You remember how RJ used to lob it up to Mitch? He was the one of him and Quickly were the people that lobbed it to Mitch actually. So when they were gone, that stopped. So I think he would be all right. He's played with Clint Capella. He'll be all right with
say
Mitch.
that. They had a 1-2 punch on a lob game between him and Capella, which is one of the things I thought this could possibly work with Mitch in this trade. There's some similarities there.
Yeah, and so I have to bounce after this, but I want to give a kudos to Fritz because you on YouTube doing these things is like mine and Ebony's homie Eddie Presti doing this on Twitter. We understand the pressure that comes and the hate of people that can't realize that you're just throwing out numbers to see what fits. But the only thing I'll say about this trade is yes, I understand it's Karl-Anthony Towns, and if you just look at the name, it makes you go, heck no. But one thing I want to draw attention to is, to me, the sleeper of this trade is Dalton. Because if you watch in the beginning of this season, before he was in any trade talks, they moved him into the starting lineup in the Lakers because of how well he was playing. And he was knocking down the 3 at a sharp clip. It wasn't until they botched the trade with the Hornets that he no longer had a desire to be in LA. And he could not trust the coaching because they had acted like he was their, part of their future. And they only did that as a masquerade to try to trade him. So he came back not wanting to play, and they didn't want him to play unless he was needed. And that's when his numbers fell off. But even in totality, with his numbers falling off and the lack of chemistry there in the last, you would even see LeBron James and him barely talked in that second half of the season, and LeBron wasn't giving him the rock anymore. So even then, he still ended the season at 38% from 3, with getting a lot less touches and everything. So your question on Jalen Brunson sitting down, this actually now gives you some shooting power off of your bench that we currently don't have. So that is something to look at. And you got to go, okay, Johnson also played with a point guard that is used to having the ball in his hand in Trae Young. So it's not like it's, his 18 points are going to suffer now because he's got a point guard that has the ball in his hand a lot. No, he had 18 points per game, even with a point guard that had the ball in his hands a lot. So it would transfer over well to what we have here.
When you have teams, I feel like there's certain players that you need to fill certain roles. I'm sorry, you have to go, Phil, right? My bad.
Yeah, Appreciate you guys all. You
Appreciate
guys
you,
are
Phil.
killing
Love
it.
you, bro.
Thanks,
You
Phil.
I love
cooked.
this KOT family. Appreciate the chat. Talk to you guys soon.
All right,
Cooked,
salute
Phil.
you, Phil.
Phil.
All right, later.
So, oops, hold on a second. Let me fix that. So you're red. So, my philosophy for those who are against the trade, when you have teams, right, you need certain players to play certain roles. So it's not enough, in my opinion, to have a guy he can score 18 points a game and say, hey, he can score. He has to be able to be like an engine and a shot creator for others consistently. So when you say, yes, he's scoring 18 points a game, it's like, all right, cool, but how is he scoring the 18 points a game? He has he's a guard who's feeding the ball. He's fast. He's in transition. He's creating steals with his defense. So like we're getting rid of a guy in Karl-Anthony Towns who kind of create when the offense bogs down and can create shots. And I feel like we're giving away a little bit too much shot creation. For we're getting back. I understand the philosophy of having defenders. I understand having a shooter off the bench, but we need shooters off the bench, but you also have to be able to create. So I feel like we're giving away too much creation for what we're getting back. I almost feel like I don't think there's nobody in the league or on this panel who does not like Jalen Johnson, because I think he's incredible, especially for what he is. I feel like the solution would be to get like a player maybe not at that level of him, but like a smaller version of that to take like Josh Hart's spot in the starting
It's so
lineup.
funny because I really thought Precious would be that.
Right.
It wasn't.
Right.
Precious
But
started the year
doesn't have
great.
the offensive chops either. That's the problem. So I get it, but that's my issue with it. But I get the defense all the way. 'Cause I'm a defense guy
Yeah.
too. But
Yeah, he was
You're
before he got
right,
injured, he was
because-
averaging about five assists. He had games of 8-7, 7-7. He passes. He had 9 assist game, 10 assists. He moves. He makes himself.
I
It looks
feel
like.
you. Now I feel you. There's shot creation, right? And then there's like secondary shot creation where it's like I'm taking over, somebody else is creating an advantage. They're swinging it to me. So now I'm able to score because somebody else created the first advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And it looked like he don't take no more than six 3-pointers. His max 3-pointer is 6. He not gonna shoot you. Keep shooting them threes. I'm looking at his game log right now.
I mean, that's
See,
what
but
I see.
You're right about, by the way, you're right about the impact of him, because as soon as he went down, the Atlanta's Hawks season was completely over. I don't think they had a single chance once he went down, even with having Trae Young and having whoever else they acquired, or even Dyson Daniels having a good season. So
I remember
can't
him
say-
killing us.
Yeah,
he killed us.
His impact, you're right. The name against the other name is kind of like, wait, whoa, but he does have a Karl Towns impact in a sense, because as soon as he went down, their season was over. And just like if it would have happened vice versa, if Karl Towns went down, our season probably would have been over.
I think you know me. I like trades where we get more bodies than we give out.
Then we
anyway.
give, but that's my issue with that, yeah.
All right.
And I'm also not too crazy with getting rid of Hawk Party. I want to unleash him in a Knicks jersey, not someone else to figure out who he is.
For sure.
Feel you. All right. I mean, I don't know. The chat's going crazy. 146 people in the chat. Yo, we lit tonight.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, hold on. I haven't paused to even acknowledge you guys because I've just been so into the damn conversation. But if you like the show so far, just do us a favor. Hit like.
We do have a super chat.
We here. We usually have to have a game talking Knicks basketball. But right now we're here talking about trades. We were going to talk about free agents, but I feel like I'm going to pause on the free agent part. We're going to save that for like a part 2. We're going to get to Lee's trades, and then we're going to close it out. And we'll be back. What day is the NBA Finals coming up this week? And we'll do a show on with the data that's not happening.
There's an NBA Finals going on.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually got to head out soon to catch game 2.
I thought it was the best 4. They won.
All I see is rumors.
Oh
All
my
I see is
God.
rumors.
Jay, I gotta go soon, so I'm gonna go through my trades very quickly.
Okay.
And then once I leave, y'all can rip them apart.
Okay. So which one you want me to go with?
Let's do the Coby White. Which is funny, B, when you said that, I was the first one to send Jay my ideas, and Coby White was
See, that's why we here, Lee. That's why we here. That's
my
why we
number
here.
one, my number one choice.
I love Coby White.
Me too.
So we could definitely do a part 2 because now I got to switch that up. I got to figure out.
Yeah. We're gonna do part 2. Is gonna be all free agents.
Don't worry, guys. I'll give y'all my
Yeah,
team.
I ain't got no trade scenarios.
No.
Mine's just free agents.
Yes,
to
free
target.
agents. Yeah.
But
Go
I'm
ahead.
just
So
here to tell you how much I'm happy that Tom is gone.
Facts.
And I love Mitch.
That was my
Don't trade
off-season
Mitch.
move.
Don't
That
trade
was
Mitch.
That was
and
my
buy Tom.
favorite move. That's it. I got what I wanted.
all right. So Lee has Deuce McBride, Precious signing trade for Precious Achua, right? And with 2 first-round pick swaps.
Swaps, correct. Swaps.
Going to the Bulls for Coby White.
I think Coby White is going to be the most sought after player this summer for all 29 teams. I think that they're going to look at his contract. I believe it's between 12 or 14 million per, but he has one more year, 1+1 going to the future. And I think Chicago is going very young. I think Coby White, they're going to try to get what they can for him. 2 future swaps to the Knicks is pretty good value, as well as an immediate replacement in Deuce McBride. Now, I know Deuce is a very beloved player in the NBA. He's someone that I cringe at when I see him included in trade scenarios. But as Fritz said, you have to give talent to get talent. So I'm replacing his position with a player who I believe is significantly better in Coby White. At 6'5", he is already one of the best movement shooters in the NBA. And I think he's top 3 in pull-up threes, walk-up threes, above the break threes in the entire NBA, which I think would mesh well with Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns. It would give us a tsunami, to use that phrase again, of 3-point shots and volume on this team at very high metrics. Now, Fritz can probably tell me where I'm off dollar to dollar. I'm willing to include more additional assets, nothing major rotation, but whatever it has to take. I've seen Leon do miracles with the Shake Milton contract and sign trade. I think there's something we could do here, maybe to campaign or something, non-guaranteed 2-year, whatever it takes. I'm even willing to throw that Washington pick in order to Coby White. I think this trade scenario, we'll get outbid. Other teams will get more to get Coby White because of his ability to play both the 1 and the 2, his 3-point shooting ability, and his ability to guard up for bigger 2s and 3s. Coby White also has plenty of experience running the team, which makes me really excited for the Brunson sitting minutes, having someone who can actually orchestrate the offense and playmate. We are missing that. DeLon Wright showed he can't do it. Payne showed he can't do it. Deuce, as of yet, I think he can grow, has shown he can't do it. Coby White's already there. Coby White is already doing it with a very bad team in Chicago Bulls and getting those guys involved. So I love the possibility. He's a 2-way player. He has a little bit of the play-in experience, but he doesn't fit. That's the one box he doesn't check for Leon. It's playoff experience. Leon's been very centric on playoff experience. He doesn't have that, but I think Coby White's talent and ceiling will make him worth the investment.
I actually kind of like this one, even though I like Deuce. I can talk myself into making.
Okay. I actually leave with this one. The concept, I like the concept. Like what the concept is the Bulls don't want to pay him as much as he wants. The
Right.
Knicks say, hey, we'll get him in the building. We'll give you what you want. It may be too much, but we'll be over the second apron and we don't care. It's still owns money.
Correct.
That's the concept of the trade. Do I think the Bulls do it? The Bulls would have to have it in their minds that they're not paying him, like off rip.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too far off. The only thing I think is Lonzo Ball's contract. I think they kind of made it for him to be traded. So I know Lonzo is going out the door. Do they want?
But I think you don't think that they want to ride Giddy?
No, Giddy is getting his big money too.
So like I said, they get rid of Lonzo and Coby. No.
I don't know. They haven't really indicated if they're willing to pay. But he is the type of player like he's gonna get,
because I think
he's like near 30, 27 a year.
Bulls should go get Austin Reeves and pair Giddy and Austin and get rid of Ball and
Yeah, they have to have it in their mind that Kobe's too expensive.
Ball.
Yep.
That's why I included it in my preamble that I think we will get outbid. There are other teams can offer more for Coby White. I would be willing to up the ante. And this is where people might disagree with me. I would include Pacome Dadiot in this trade, or Kevin McCullough. I would do that. I would even include Tyler Kolek. Not all three of them, but I would do one of the three. And people are like, oh, I know Kolek has a hive. I know Pacome has a hive. Coby White's already here. And whatever it takes to be the highest bidder, even if it's another swap or that Washington bid, I would keep adding to the bidding war to get Coby White. Because to me, Coby White's the last piece you need. As long as Mitch is here, Cat's here, OG, Bridges, and Brunson, Coby White I think would win. He needed to be our starting two, or would win 6th man of the year with us off the bench.
Yeah, I think it's solid. Like it's solid.
I like Coby White, but isn't he still growing defensively? Like he's up and down on that end, right?
He's got
Yeah, but he's
last
6'5".
season.
He is 6'5".
I know 6'5", but I'm talking about his defense. I know that's something he's growing at and inconsistent on that end.
It's hard to tell specifically when the whole team is bad. I think they're starting to try to do that. Danny Bit's more defensive minded. I watched him in the Chicago Bull play-in tournament game, and I was impressed with his two-way ability. He actually was a point of attack defender in many of their sets, defensive sets. So I was like, there's some opportunity here for a ceiling. And I was thinking Tibs when I made this trade idea. I made this at the beginning of the playoffs. How can we get this roster better? Tibs ain't here, but I think any coach would appreciate and maximize that ceiling because of what he's done on an already bad team.
Yeah, and you said we have to trade Precious to do this?
So,
Precious and Miles.
Well, I don't know if Precious would even do us a favor. I think he feels a certain type of way about
I think
us
the money would
right
be
now.
there. The other there's another downside to this is that free agency would be over. Like you're just throwing minimums after that. Like you're not getting anybody above the minimum.
We need mint.
I mean, if you got a 6-man off,
because let Lee finish his last take real quick, because then I want to tell my thought process on how we should enter free agency.
Okay. All right, cool.
All right. Jay, let's put Josh Hart trade.
You got to Marcus Smart to get the ring, I guess.
Ooh.
I like this one even more. This one to me is probably the best possible thing that we could do this offseason, in my opinion. Using my Dallas insight once again for PJ Washington, a player who I criticized a lot when he was in Charlotte. This is a straight up swap. I believe the salaries are close to matching. PJ Washington is available. It's been reported by Mart Stein, Brad Townsend, all of the Dallas reporters. He is available for trade. So I thought about guys who are available. Coby White, I think, will be available if they don't want to pay him. PJ Washington now with Anthony Davis is no longer playing his best position, which is a 4. We have Anthony Davis, you have Daniel Gafford, you have what's his name, Derek Lively. There's a crunch, and then he has to consolidate for a guard. So I said Josh Hart. Josh Hart can be either off the bench or he can start for them. They also have a lot of shooting. But PJ Washington, personality-wise, is exactly what this team is missing. He's a dog. He's a troll. He's a meme. He talks shit, and he backs it up. Two-way play. Excellent defender. I've seen him guard the point of attack in the playoffs. I've seen him guard centers in the playoffs. He's versatile. He's starting to get a three-point shot, and he was the reason they beat OKC last year in the playoffs, was him in the corner, drilling those threes. OKC could not adjust to him. He's able to guard up. He's able to run the offense. I've seen him be a playmaker, two-way player, valuable contract, under $15 million, someone who I think would add a huge personality spike to our team for a guy who I think is undersized off the bench, and Josh Hart, and might have maximized his role with his team. PJ would come in and immediately start at either the 3 or the 4 or be the 6th man off the bench.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
I
like it. He plays multiple positions.
Because you not only getting rid of our Hart, you're getting rid of, when you do get rid of him, you do want to get something that's either just as good or better. And PJ Washington is slightly better than Josh Hart. I'm not gonna lie, just slightly.
Yeah.
Not
It's-
very
it-
much, but it's slightly.
and like Big Chino just mentioned, he definitely did regress defensively this year.
Yeah,
Josh Hart, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
he did. Josh Hart regressing. If you were of the mindset that Tom Thibodeau wore out the people here, then you might be like, well, with a new voice, Josh Hart can get back to what he was
It's
defensively the year
overuse.
before.
Yeah, it's overuse.
This trade is one of those things where it makes sense basketball wise, but emotionally,
Understood.
for a guy who's been like the
Yeah.
heartbeat of the team and the guy who's kind of made us in the adult team for the few seasons he was here, and the guy who's kind of been Jalen Brunson's best friend since he's been here. It makes it hard to make that trade. Like basketball wise, it makes sense.
No. Yeah.
This is the Oakley for Camby type trade that people hate it.
I think it helped both teams tremendously as well. I think that would help the Mavs problem with their bench. and it would help us tremendously.
I like
Yeah,
it.
you gotta
Yeah.
console Jalen Brunson losing his
And I
bring Brunson
also
that
think
back.
bold take. I
Bring
also think
Brunson that
that
back. His best friend is gone. The podcast probably dead now.
He's got to
And-
grow
and-
up.
right now,
You gotta
Gotta
take
grow up.
sometimes you gotta take that safety blanket away.
yeah.
I agree.
I'm not
I
saying
agree.
not do it. I'm
Jalen
just
probably played his
saying
whole career with his dad there. He has to get rid of that.
I'm just painting the picture. I'm just painting.
But I do want to say this too. I think this is a bold take a little bit, but Josh Hart reached his peak, and I think that this is as good as he's a guy who can average a triple double in the low numbers. 10, 8 with some couple assists. I don't think we're ever going to see a season where Josh Hart can average 20 points with 10. No, but I think that PJ Washington can have a better season than he's already had, if that makes sense. So I think that's why I like the trade a lot, where we can still get some more good PJ Washington seasons versus Josh Hart. I think we saw what he can do. We either repeat it or I think he digresses. I don't think he gets any better than what he has shown us already.
Yeah,
He probably had his best statistical season last season with the Mavs too. Even amongst all the injuries, he was injured, only played 57 games, but he debuted 14.7 points per game, a whole block a game, a whole steal a game, 2 assists, 8 rebounds, as well as shooting 38% from the 3-point line. And also important, a career 71% shooter from the free throw line. There's a very important in our team. You don't try to add any guys who also struggle at the free throw line.
Please.
Those hacking situations. And what I love the most about him, he plays better in the playoffs. I loved how crucial he was in that series against OKC. He was unbelievable, giving you 13 points, 6.6 rebounds, and shooting 35% from 3, but really high, I think 42% in the OKC series. So I'm a huge fan of his personality. He's a dog. He talks a lot of spat. Would love to have him in the rotation.
Yeah, I like the trade, but there's a little bit of Josh slander there. I think no, but I think just on this team, I think on previous teams he had better defensive players behind him, so he could freestyle a little bit, and it was kind of okay. He could cheat a lot, and it was okay. I think the team just wasn't good defensively, so now when he's cheating, it all falls apart.
I think
That's true.
I think we have to acknowledge too that he's not a power forward.
No,
He's been a power forward.
That was Tibs' fault.
Yeah.
People
And but a lot of the defensive adjustments, the watch was Josh Hart this year, and I'm a huge Josh Hart fan, and I can tell you his defense was left a lot to be desired. This
Yeah.
he was getting beat off the first step. He was getting beat backdoor. He was nowhere in vicinity to contest shots at times.
That's a fact.
So he definitely regressed on the end. It's like he felt, I got OG, I got Mikal, I ain't got to do this no more.
Yeah.
I'm not the one on the best player anymore. And it looked like that.
All right. All
right, family. I got to bounce.
Okay.
All right, see you, Lee.
Which just I'll present Lee's last one. Do you want me to present your last one?
Sure, you can. I'm going to bounce out, and y'all can tear it apart without me.
I'm scared. If he's bouncing on
no
his stick,
face
I'm
is
scared.
returning.
Yeah, he's gonna throw a bomb and he's gonna throw the bomb.
It's all right. I got your number.
All right.
Yeah, you'll put out a group chat, Lee. All right.
Peace out, Lee.
Put me in a group chat.
And then there were 4.
And then there were 4 Survivor in this month. All right.
Everybody's throwing bombs and leaving.
Oh wait.
I
I have to reload this one. My bad, because I had it set up for a certain screen. Hold on.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Anthony D, he asking for my attention, and I like the D because you already know where I'm going with
Oh
that.
Lord, here we go.
Here we go. First of all, make JB uncomfortable. That again, comprehension is key, my guy, and obviously you don't have it. When I talk about making comfortable, I mean where Jalen Brunson is going to the paint, and the first look he is to Josh Hart. We don't need that because we know Josh Hart is not a 3-point shooter. So he shouldn't give it to him, but that's his comfort zone. That's his guy. I understand that. That's what I'm saying. Maybe you have to take a little bit less of that to force JB to grow as a player, because our main thing with JB is him being a game manager and a game changer. You get what I mean? We need him to balance that. He has to learn how to get his and get others involved and not just do the Nova connection. That's what I was saying, since you didn't understand, Mr. Sir. All right, you could continue.
All right. So the bomb. Oh, I got the old ticker up here. Hold on, I was even prepared for this one. All right. So the bomb that Lee one to leave on and not present himself.
Or what's this?
Well, might be a bomb to some. We'll see how you guys feel about it. Mock trade number 3 from Lee.
What is that?
Deuce
That's-
McBride, Precious Achua, 2 first-round picks for Dante
Swaps.
DiVincenzo.
Who was the other person? Precious, right? And
They don't want Precious or Deuce.
You got two
Two first-round picks.
Hmm.
But
Okay,
Dante
let me
DiVincenzo.
look at something.
I don't
first.
think Dante is worth Miles.
This is the one where I felt like we're buying back our own crack for a more expensive price.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Again, we made Dante. Dante just showed how he would play in another situation, and it would be a no coach coming back. So it's not guaranteed that he's gonna have that same exact season that he had for us the year
Right.
before we traded him. So to give that up when we see Miles progressing with this core, he's been with them since he's been drafted. To then give him a way to go get back, like you said, what we already had, that we're not guaranteed that we're gonna get that same season that we had with him is silly.
I agree.
We
I
also,
don't
again,
think-
people keep forgetting we got a steal with Miles McBride for his talent, a steal. So if you're gonna go trade Miles McBride, you got to get a steal back. You
Right.
can't. You're not gonna. Yeah.
He's not. Yeah, Miles McBride's his value is not as high as a lot of people think. Also, but the trade doesn't work because the swaps really don't work. Also, the other thing is we traded Dante after training camp. You can't trade anybody with it back to the old team for a year, so it'd have to be like in the season.
Mm.
So
I feel
I
you.
think he needs to move on from Dante.
Yeah, listen, man.
Yeah.
I
listen,
agree, B. I agree.
I'm not that far. Dante, come back home if you need to. I mean, you can take a year or two. It's
I wouldn't
fine.
mind. It would never bother me to see him back, but I think trying to break up what we have to get him back would be silly. Like if he's a free agent and later on in life and we can get him, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, people.
Go ahead.
But we
No, I
already
think
blew
people
up. We
just have
already
that-
broke our hearts for him to re-break it, to do it again. I'm not. It's like getting back with a toxic ex. It's like, okay, we still got these problems though. I know we took a little break and everything's cool now, but I
Right.
gotta remember when you
I got-
cheated on me. Like, you know,
I got a little hot take. I seen that Giannis said he doesn't want to be traded. And I think that he doesn't want to be traded. And I think that has to be with if you look at KD and how every time he's traded, they've kind of depleted the team to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Giannis wants that same type of aspect. He wants another championship and he wants to help a team do it. But he doesn't
I don't
want
think
to,
that-
he doesn't want to deplete it to do it. So this is his last year, right? On books, really, Fritz? Is this his last
No.
year? He got another year. Oh, dang, I don't know that. I thought this was his last year. I thought he was just trying to wait for free agency. No, I don't know
You
what he's
can't-
doing then.
So he's locked in. He's a Milwaukee Buck.
You're not getting, just for the people who know, you're not getting all-star caliber players in free agency. Like our books are not set up that way.
Yeah,
Like
no.
the only way we're gonna getting all-star caliber players is if we trade for them. There is no way
Yeah,
you're
no,
gonna be able
yeah.
to just.
I get it, but that's a different type of trade. If you off the books and they got to re-sign you, because now it's like you got to do me a favor. You get what I'm saying? If I re-sign you to get some pieces, you got to do me a favor. Then that trade doesn't look as much as it would right now. Us trying to get it. That's how I feel with it.
Nah, it's like really what happens is when the all-star caliber player has 1 year left on your deal, they have the most leverage. So you don't have to wait for them to get off the books to then re-sign them to then trade them. Like
Yeah.
that leverage is in that last year of their deal, and that's when usually those type of players ask for a trade and the trade starts to happen. So like we wouldn't have to wait for him to like if he expires in 2027, 28, then that means next season like we be able to make a trade for him if he wants to move. But then but like you said, there's a risk in that. There's a risk involved in that. Like you
We're
already
talking
saw
about
what
Giannis
happened
right now?
with Kevin Durant when he went to the Phoenix Suns. They depleted their entire roster. Now they're top heavy with 3 people, and they thinking they're going to the promised land. And they've laid an egg multiple seasons, and now they're looking to trade Kevin Durant again. So for those who want Kevin Durant here, great player, makes sense with JB, a guy who can play off ball, on ball, can play a little bit of defense as well. But you still kind of want to look at what's going on with the Phoenix Suns and realize, hey, it didn't work with the Phoenix Suns for a reason. They depleted too many of their assets. we don't want to be in the exact same situation as they are, especially with the new CBA. Like it's gonna make it harder. So
yeah, the other thing about Kevin Durant, like the second he gets traded, he's getting an extension. Like that's gonna be part of the deal.
No,
like,
I don't know.
So like, so you're not. So it says 1 year there. As soon as he gets off, I want my 2-year 120. Yeah, he's gonna want that.
And how many games he played this season again?
I don't know.
Not enough.
The fact that you
Not
can't even
enough.
remember.
KD?
Yeah,
Yeah.
KD.
I don't know. I don't. Was he injured a lot this year?
I feel like he was.
I don't remember. I don't.
I feel like he's been injured the last few years.
Last year, yeah, he just doesn't play more than like. To me, it would shock me if you said more than 60, 70 games. It would shock me.
I know one of the big problems from Phoenix was their stars weren't able to play together for long stretches of time.
Mm-hmm. Because Bradley Beal
And
came back and got hurt right after
KD,
he got hurt.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Anthony? I cut you off.
No, I said Bradley Beal got back and then got hurt right after he came back. Like, I think the same game type vibe.
By the way, Knicks fans be a little, because they stuck with that nasty contract. That Beal, talk about no trade value. That not only you have a big contract, you also have a terrible
That's why
player.
I don't like the shiny balls. Pause. I don't like those type of trades. Don't do that.
Bill, I was talking about Beal the other day. Like Beal, most likely he's gonna get bought out. Like he being difficult. Like they try to trade him everywhere, and he say no every time. Like
who will get him?
Because he got a no trade clause. He say no every time.
Right, but that's why you gotta be careful about them stars from loser teams. They playing with no expectations. That's the difference.
Yeah, he's like, you ain't traded me. I'm good here.
Mm-hmm. I feel you.
Who's desperate right now that could take him?
No, I think the
KD has 62. He has 62 this year.
Oh, that's pretty good for him.
That's actually that's good. That's good. I'll take my word. Like that's good. That's good.
62.
And the last year before that, he was at 75.
Okay, 62 is not
my
bad.
bad, KD. That's my bad. That's
not bad.
That's not terrible. No.
Yeah, it's not. He doesn't qualify to be All-Star because he didn't hit the 65 game mark, but you know.
Right. Oh, right. And he was. And also,
I'm cool with I understand.
And Josh Hart wasn't crazy.
Yeah. I'm cool with the big names that everybody want, but like that's why I was okay with the cat trade, because we would get more players back, and they were majority two-way players. Again, if I lost and this finals don't show you how important defense is, and that you don't necessarily need all the big names, you just need to play as a team on both ends. I don't know what else would state my case with that.
I'm hoping we can make some small margin moves to get some like 3-and-D type of wings in here. That's what I'm hoping we can do. We'll see how that goes and if that's even possible. Thank you, Fritz, for being here. It's not every channel has like a cap guy, so it's nice to.
Fritz is that guy.
Yeah, it's nice to lean on somebody, but like that's not possible. Now it is. So yeah, appreciate Mr. NBA Kami. Whether you like his trades or not, we appreciate it.
Yeah, NBA 2K trades and it don't even work. So
exactly,
and that's what we're here for. This is off season. We get people that even in social media they get mad about it, but there's no off topic right now. There's no basketball being played. Yeah. So we could do the fairy tales, things that might not be in our reach. It can be all talked about right now because there is no basketball being played.
Yeah, and there's just certain people like you'll see them on Twitter and they'll just say, "Oh, Knicks, you put the last person on the bench, you get all-star player in return." But you gotta be realistic. And a lot of times, like little pieces, you have to add up to a lot more than an all-star to get an all-star back.
Yeah,
especially with this second apron stuff. We can get more into that later. B, did you want to say something? I do.
No, I do got to dip out, and I wanted to say something. While the next thing, I'll definitely have my my little trade machines too, because there's some names that I have here that I think you guys would like. Okay, so we'll see. But I might hate it too. So I don't know.
All right, part
but
two.
I did want to say we started off the conversation with the coach change, and then we went into free agency, and everything that made me as I was listening to this, and I'm like, I really hope we don't change both sides. We got rid of the head coach. Go get a coach that can coach this team then. don't make any changes in the starting lineup. It was very clear as day that we need help. If Jalen Brunson goes down, who was going to step up? When Mitch goes down, who steps up? When Carr's fingers messed up or in foul trouble, who is there for us? And every time those questions were being asked, we were questioning Tib what he was going to do. But like I said in the last show, I looked over sometimes too, and I understood why he continued with his starters. We need veteran presence, and we need, on top of the veteran presence, we need talent. Not just the fact that Campaign has been to the Western Conference, but he also he's not as good as a Coby White. He's just not,
Right.
And I think that's the names that we should target looking into. The name that is not an all-star name, but could possibly be one, but is not as bad as someone who you're going to give a minimum to right now. We got to look at those $5 to $10 million guys right now. And that is, I believe, what we should go after, not the Kevin Durant's or the Giannis's or somebody who we have to enter into the starting lineup and add it to the ball. Right now, I want Mitch Robinson to start for the simple fact that you take someone off the ball. All season, we've been asking, when is Mikal going to get into groove? When is OG? When there's one basketball and there's 5 people that have to touch it, that's why they don't get into a groove. So if you throw in Mitch Robinson, you take someone off the ball who then you miss, we get a bunch of rebounds anyway. No big deal. You could lob it up if you get Jalen Brunson to work on his passing and pass a little bit more. You can do a lot of things like that. If you get Mikal to work on his 3-point shooting, we get OG to drive a little bit more and be more aggressive. Things like that, where I already saw we don't have to blow the starting lineup up. We were 2 games away from the NBA Finals. Why would you blow that up and then get a new coach and then ask for that person to get you a ring? That sounds like insanity. That sounds like insanity, if anything. So I think, again, I'm going to keep looking, and we got to look in between, because Coby White could, who knows, on a team, he could be an all-star. He puts up all-star numbers some days, but he's not. So we need that guy, and I'm looking for those type of names to move the needle for us, so that when we do have people like Kat and JB sitting, we're not holding our breath or waiting or counting the minutes when JB is going to get back in. Because if you look at the league in the last few years, it changes all the time. And right now we're in a system where chemistry is important, not talent. Chemistry is important. That's why OKC and Pacers are right there, and not there because they were months together or the summer together. They're together because they did years and years of getting to a point and falling short. We just got this team to the Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, and we're 2 games away. You're going to tell them now, y'all can't do it, tear it apart, and he's going to help us instead? No, you tell that team, I see what you need, and we're going to go get you that, which is a better coach and a better bench. And that's what I think what we should focus on in this free agency. We should not focus on what everybody else got going on. I understand Giannis, he's an absolute talent, and I would do a lot to get a Giannis, but not in this chapter. This chapter for the New York Knicks, we should have got Giannis years ago if we were going to go get him, or we should get him when he plans to retire, just to, but not right now. This is a team right now that you're going to tell them right now, y'all not good enough, so he's better, and here it is. That's BS to me. This team was this close, and when I looked at it, and I saw when we went into this post run, Precious, Cam, and Shamit is not the names that you're going to be like, we're going to win an NBA title. I'm sorry. You're not going to win that with that bench. Those are the guys that you do in the 8th, 9th, 10th slot. You win with Payne, Shamit, and Precious as the 8th, 9th, 10th man, not the 6th, 7th, 8th. You don't. You do win possibly. You could consider with a Coby White, with a Jalen Johnson, names like that are right there. And no knock to any of those guys, because when their numbers were called, they tremendously step up, and I appreciate them. I think they also show flashes that's why we wanted them to play. But these type of players have to play for long stretches. They got to play 60 to 80 games for us, 20 plus minutes. I can't ask that from Shaman and Campaign anymore. I'm sorry. They're not gonna do that for us. Again, no disrespect, but that's how I think we should enter free agency, and I hope we do. I hope we focus more on the head coach than we do the roster.
Yeah, I agree with some points. I would like to have Shimmy back. I really would. I thought that he gives a good versatility. He's a vet that doesn't complain. He doesn't need the ball, and he defends. So again, I'm always the person that's telling you to one ball. And if you have somebody that maximizes their impact without having it, those are the people that people try to those are the players you try to get multiple of in your team. So I would definitely, if out of the 3, I would pick Shamit myself with his size, the fact that he can do mid-range, 3-point, and defend. So with that, but I would like to, in a sense, run it back. I know we can't keep all 3 of them. Again, a Cat never got a whole training camp. He came in with no training camp. So but my thing, my free agency move happened already, and that was
Just being back,
the
yeah.
firing of Tibs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
The firing of Tibs, because now
we never
get
reached
to
our
see,
potential.
yeah,
We never
we
reached
get
our
to see
potential
what
last year.
our team looks like.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of people talking down on our pieces because they weren't used in their strengths.
yeah.
And I always point back to Obi. How we never ran pick and rolls for Obi, him being a high flyer, him being fast. We had Obi trying to help Hart, who was struggling when Mitch got hurt, rebounding, knowing that he was good, putting pressure, leaking out.
Yeah.
Like Tibbs didn't use people for their strengths. It took us being down in the finals for him to actually use our bench. You get what? And them show like, hey, we could do this. Every series is not the same. And I always point back again to Carlisle using Tony Bradley and then not benching Ben Mathurin when he was playing like crap.
Yeah.
If that was Tibbs, Ben Mathurin wouldn't have seen the floor again, and he wouldn't have been able to have those 20-point games. So again, I just need to see a different coach with the amount of pieces we have.
Yeah.
All good points. All good points. Me personally, Dylan Wright and Shamit are my guys to be called back for sure on cheap contracts. Definitely agree with your assessment of getting those guys who were those fringe guys. Those fringe guys were kind of like an all-star, but not quite there yet. I like the idea of kind of just getting those guys kind of locked in before we hit our second apron, so we can have a team that's locked in for multiple years with stability and all that stuff. So I like all that. So on that note, part 2 coming soon. Damn good show. Appreciate everybody who's rocking with us. And we'll be back on, let's see, what's a good day?
Father's Day coming up, though, by the way. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Shout out to my pops as well. All right. But we're going to do it in the middle of the week because I know Father's Day is going to be running around.
I was going to say, that was coming up, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I know. I love Sundays because people be engaged Sundays. But we'll do the next one in the middle of the week, maybe like Tuesday night or something like that. So stay tuned, all right?
All right.
All right. Great show, guys. I really love this show. I always like these type of discussions. So we'll wrap it up. Fritz, let them know they can find you.
Fritz handles on Twitter. My YouTube channel, NBA Economy Show. Definitely having everybody on to give me their individual ideal summer. So we'll see those.
All right. Shout out to our guy Fritz. All right. B, let them know they can find you.
Twitter, Instagram, Sporty Spice. That's with 2 C's. SPORTY SPICCE. That's me. Thank you guys again.
All right. And Ebony, let them know they can find you, Ebony. Yeah, get off mute, Ebony. Get off mute.
I'm special, but you can find me after every post game. You will now whenever we do a spot. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Mad Knick Fan, and it's Liberty season. So after every Liberty game, bowling with the Queens on Twitter.
All right. Oh shoot! Shout out to the super chats. Damn, I was really liking the conversation. We had 2 super chats. Shout out to Silk Sultan who sent the $4.99 super chat. Says, "Hi panel, could Dolan be in the room because he okayed the extension on Tibs and he has to be okay with eating that and moving on." That's a good theory. Hey, I don't rule it out. Maybe he was in the room because he got wind that it's possible that Tibs could be let go. So I'm gonna be in the room to see for myself. That could be a good theory. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, I think there's just issues. Like usually when Dolan, when he hears things from people he's close to, I think he wanted to hear it from himself. I'm
not mad at it. Mm-hmm. And shout out to Brooklyn Butch, who also sent the $4.99 super chat. Says, "Stop recycling these head coaches, please. Give us a fresh face and a fresh approach to things, please. Look what the young head coaches have done." All right, he got 3 likes too, so popular post. Shout out to you, Brooklyn Butch. Yep. All right, yo. the show. Thank you guys for watching. You can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram, Nick of Time Show on Facebook as well. We're also on Twitter. We're also on TikTok. I tried to actually do the stream on TikTok, but something happened weird and I couldn't able to do it, which sucks because this was a great show. But follow us on those social media handles. We're also on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher as well. All right, cool. That is the show.
I need your trade machine, so we're gonna be talking in a little bit.
All right, you need all the trades. All right.
Peace out, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. That's the show. We out of here. And as always,
shout out the worldwide west. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out this mug. Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.